Hi, good evening, and welcome to episode 27 of Toastmasters Unplugged. Apologies to all our audience. I'm sorry that we were a little bit late. We had some tech issues backstage, and we might need our audience's help on this. So we were experiencing a lot of echoes. We think we're okay, but if the sound is bad, please drop in your comments. Anyone is watching, whether there's an echo or something weird, just let us know. So tonight's episode is all about why I said yes, not a wedding. It's saying yes to Toastmasters. We always say yes to them whenever they come calling. But this particular yes is for the role of area director. And area director is a role where you're in charge of a handful of clubs. And you have to make sure that they remain that you look after them, make sure they reach that quality that they need to be, that it attracts members. So it's a really, really important role. And you're sort of a conduit in the stream right up to the district, which lead for each region. There's a region, there's a district, there's a division, and the area looks after a small amount of clubs and makes sure that they thrive. So how we're going to do it, I'm going to have, I did have four lovely Toastmasters who have been area directors, but one of them, the sound was so bad, she had to send her apologies. But we have three in the wings in our green room who are, hopefully, our sound will be okay for them. So our first person up tonight is Sujant Svenensen. Excuse me while we tried getting your name right before, and I don't think I got it brilliantly there. But Sujant is an engineer by trade. He's a Toastmasters leader, speaker, club builder, co-founder of Hemel Speakers. He chartered the Hemel Speakers in just 6 months, which is quite incredible because it usually takes quite a bit of time to assemble those people and then get it from an idea to actually charter, which means it's an actual thriving club. He helped rebuild Luton Toastmasters, who were struggling and facing closure, and his Area 32, he led it on to be distinguished. Now, people who, if you're listening and you're not a Toastmaster, distinguished is a very important term to get when it describes your area and for your clubs. It means that quality is there, and that when people walk in, they see that quality and they want to join that club. I've done enough talking, Suzanne, so you're very welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am good. How's that echo?
It's actually not there. I was praying that I wasn't going to come back, but it's not there right now, so I'm happy. I'm happy so far.
Yeah, to our audience listening, we major echoes going on. That's why we were running late. So what made you say yes to becoming an area director?
So the reason why I said yes to become an area director is I became president, and then after that I had a gap. So I was just competing. And then there was a moment I went to a division contest for humorous speech, and I forgot my lines. And I remember thinking to myself, how could I forget? I spent so long practicing this and I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself that maybe it's a reason why I haven't developed my leadership enough. And I thought the next necessary step for me to advance my leadership, but also advance my confidence, was to become area director. And honestly, I've learned more in my area director role than I have in my 4 years in Toastmasters before that. So it is a very eye-opening role.
Yeah, it's incredibly stretching, and you get thrown a lot of things. You kind of know a little bit about what to expect, but there's always surprises in there. And as you say, that's the thing that makes you grow as a leader, as a person, as a networker. It's brilliant. Now, you did, in the interview, I said you inherited a lot of challenges. It was like the poison chalice. So what was your mindset going into that on that day one, or whenever they said to, here you go? What were you thinking?
So I did like an analysis. So we had West Coast Speakers Club, which is a very good club, a strong club. But we had Luton, which was stuck at 8 members when I started. Bedford, I think, were at 10. And we had Cornerstone, who were at 12. So we had 3 clubs that were really, really seen better days in a simple way. And when I was looking at it, it's weird to say this, but a lot of clubs avoid asking the real questions about why the club is not doing well. And sometimes it's about, as area directors, it's about us kind of giving them guidance, kind of showing them that we do need to listen to the members, because at the end of the day, Toastmasters is all about the members, especially like stuff like the club constitution, which explains how powerful the members have and how much power they have to like decide what happens in the clubs, and kind of make them realize that they have power, especially the members. And because of that, Luton were able to grow. Luton at the end, now they were at 8 when I first started, but now they're at 19 members now. So it shows that just asking the tough questions sometimes gets the results that the members want, but also the club needs.
Yeah, that's incredible because you're right, it is all about the members. In
Yes.
Toastmasters, whoever is not familiar with it,
Mm.
it's incredible. It's all about the person right at the bottom. We're here, the leaders it's that servant leadership. We're here to serve you, but we're not going to be shouting and roaring about it. We're doing it. And as you said, look at that. That's a thriving club now. 19 members is hugely, healthy. That's incredible. So well done you. Now tell me about your Hemel speakers. It's not actually in our district. So we talked about districts. It's in our sister district or our brother district, District 91. So tell me about the idea, what made it a little bit different, and that whole journey.
So for me, Hemel Hempstead, I've lived in Hemel Hempstead for a year or two, and I used to go. I'm still part of West House Speakers Club, but I always felt like when I was walking around the community, I don't feel like I was given an impact, especially to the area I was living in. And we had Jed Ban. He's part of a lot of clubs. He's also part of Pegasus as well, and he lived in Hemel. He's always been telling me that every single meeting, we should make a club. We should make a club in Hemel Hempstead. And then we had Imka. Imka was the experience. She started one of the first clubs in Harrow, so Harrow Speakers. So when we had a conversation, we talked about starting a new club. Honestly, I didn't care about the DTM. I didn't care about any of the awards. I simply wanted to help people in Hemel Hempstead. Because Hemel Hempstead, when I tried to join any club, there was one running club and that's it. There was nothing else. And somehow the population of Hemel Hempstead was more than West Park and St. Albans, but somehow Hemel Hempstead didn't have anything. So we really dug into it and really wanted to create a club. And of course, it's a lot of challenges, but honestly, we love the journey. I always say it's like a part-time job, but afterwards it's most rewarding, especially getting chartered so quickly as well. It was really rewarding, and I'll 100% recommend everyone, if they want to build something in their community, to start a new Toastmaster club, because honestly, that's where leaders are built.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And how many members does Hemel Hempstead have now?
It's got 23 right now.
That's huge. That's very
But it's weird because I would say the funnest moments are when we only had 5 or 6 members in the room, because that's when you're trying to get things done and you're trying to you're struggling a bit more. But it was fun. The journey was so fun. I'll 100% recommend it to everyone.
So anybody listening who wants to form a club, it's great fun. I know you probably thought at the beginning, I know this is huge, this is daunting, but it's doable. And look at the pleasure you're getting from it. So yes, we're all about club growth. So everybody listening, you can channel that inner Sujant and get that club going. So well done, that's brilliant. So you finished the areas distinguished. As I said, each of your clubs met certain goals, which meant that your area was distinguished. Now tell me about West Herts, the sort of pearl. They did so well this year. So explain to our audience what it is that they achieved.
West Herts achieved the Ted Corcoran Award of Excellence, which is, I pretty much say, the best club in a district. So we did really, really well. For example, we got seven people training first phase and second phase. We got all the Smelly distinguished as well, and we also get a new club that was chartered. That was Hemel Hempstead. So the thing that makes West House so great is the culture and the people. We really, really challenge each other, and we're a family. I think, especially nowadays when a lot of people are quite lonely, Toastmasters can be that gap where we can help people find a community, but also find people where they have a family they can turn to. And we're a family. We look out for each other, and we've got quite a few people coming up as well. We've got Enrica being area director now, and we've got the next generation of West House speakers kind of going into leadership in the district. So yeah, we're a group to watch.
Exactly, I was going to say that's the area to watch. But you've hit the nail on the head. Is that connection? We're all about sort of education, growing leadership. But I think it's the connection piece which is huge. It's that connection with your club members, with people outside, the people you meet, we meet at conferences, we meet online, different online learnings. And there's nothing to compare to it. And you're right, the connection piece, and it's to do with longevity in life. Connection is really important. So it goes beyond just the usual of what we think about it. There's a few comments coming in. We have Enrica, you were just talking about her there. She's extraordinarily well done, Shizjant, and I'm sure Enrica had a lot to do because she was the president of the club who achieved that. Yeah, so well done, everybody. That's absolutely amazing and fantastic. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question. First of all, I heard you mention DTM. So DTM is Distinguished Toastmaster. It's like less than 1% of Toastmasters achieve this. So one of the things is in that suite of programs and things you have to do is to form a club. So are you on that journey? Are you almost there, or have you a little bit more to do?
It's a really weird one because I would say because I'm doing the speeches, I'm doing the pathways, I am on that journey. But I'm also looking. So for example, this year has been a year where I can kind of reflect and see what I want. And it's been kind of good to just do speeches, visit different clubs. Like now I'm part of Cornerstone Communicators and also Hammer Speakers. So I'm kind of networking out. So it's been really good to just, I would say I am on that journey, but I also say it's a product of just being there, meeting new people, going to different clubs and kind of meeting people. So yeah, I would say I am on that journey. Hopefully I'll be one of the youngest people who get it. But yeah, it's still a journey I'm enjoying. I enjoy the process more than I enjoy the awards.
Yeah. That certainly come across if you've absolutely loved every bit of it. Some bits which I know I'd say, I'm not forming a new club. That sounds like way too much like hard work. And you're kind of going, no, it's brilliant. So listen, Sujan, thanks very much. I'm going to send you back to the green room and I'm going to bring up our next guest, which is Con Moore. So Con Moore is one of our youngest Toastmasters. He's a recent graduate of Ulster University studying AI. How, important is that? And he was Area 4 Director, so that's up the north of Ireland, if anybody's not familiar with Area 4. And you're the current president of Foil Speakers. So you're very welcome, Con Moore.
Thank you, Olga. No, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Good. And have you got the awful echo?
I've got it on my end, but you're fine. I suppose that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Okay, so if anybody listening hears an echo, let us know. But from my end, it's absolutely perfect. So you're you're one of the district's younger leaders. So when you stepped into that role, you're kind of like, were you feeling that sort of maybe imposter syndrome at all?
Yeah, no, definitely. I would agree that it felt like an imposter syndrome at the start because, especially for me, I started Toastmasters in mid-2024 and, relatively soon in my Toastmasters journey, I went into that leadership role as area director without having a role on the committee even on my home club. So, there was that feeling of should I be here? But, I felt as the months went on and as you get into that role and you learn about it, you do feel like you belong, you realise where you fit in,
Yeah. So no, that's amazing. So you hadn't actually done any of those other little roles. So yes, it was a big learning curve. Did you have a mentor through that process?
Well, I wouldn't say a strict, like a, what's the word, formal mentor. I had the previous area director who was a great help, but not a formal mentor in the actual process. So it was kind of like going into the deep end. But sometimes that's what you need, and I felt it was good to get that experience, and learn where to go and where to find out new things, about the role.
Absolutely. Now I'm getting messages that there's a big echo with Con. Echo is back. Can you guys listen audience-wise, or shall we send Con back to the green room and maybe reconvene and do it another time with Con? And there's Tim, Elizabeth, James. Are we hearing anything he's saying, or is it not so good? And we'll wait for the echoes to come, or the answers to come there. While we're waiting, I'll give you one more question, Con Moore. Mm-hmm. So, highlight of the year and the low light of the year. So I know we spoke and you said it was the same one. So describe to people what that issue, what that big thing was.
So the highlight and the low light was both to do with the area speaking contests that whole day. So the highlight, of course, was actually holding it and seeing the people from my area, coming along, giving their best in the day and all the 3 competitions and all their hard work paying off. And finally seeing an event that so much organisation had gone into come into fruition. But equally, the low light to do with that was the organisation of it. More so in my mind around the organization,
Yeah.
thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen here? This could be a disaster if things don't go 100% right. What if this person doesn't turn up? What if I forget this certain thing? But, it comes down to, and I was thinking of this in preparation for coming on here, but it comes down to delegation, proper delegation, I think. And that was a big thing I learned as an area director is delegation of responsibilities and tasks. You don't have to do it all on your own. You don't have to go in there and feel all the pressure on your shoulders. And that helped me a lot with organizing the day. I had some great presidents underneath me, president of Lagan Valley, Patience Mupfubi, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, and the president of Belfast, the Belfast Club, who were there and got me judges and timers and everything. So a low light was the worrying about organising that, but it really was a highlight overall, and there was really no need to worry about the the area contest, because as long as you put in the time to organise it, it's going to pay off.
But I think that's a brilliant life lesson for everybody, Conmore. Even I remember I had that same issue with contests. I was like, I can't do this, I can't book a contest. It turns out okay. So when in life, in the real world, when you're presented with something, you go, oh my God, I can't do this. You're now thinking differently. Saying, okay, I'm going to say yes. Not actually sure, but I'm going to find out. And I have people to help me. Even if Toastmasters, there's loads of people to help. You just have to look into your contacts and loads there. The real world, it might be different, but there's always somebody. And, even AI can help. I'm sure
That's
you
it.
know that.
What? Just
Xavier.
you have to be careful, because it does like to come up with some hallucinations, but it can be useful.
Yeah. No, Tim has suggested, he said, is Con logged on with 2 devices? Tim, no, we have tried this. We were, tearing our hair out in the first 30 minutes where we met in the green room. So we don't actually know what's wrong. But if you're hearing okay, we'll persevere. Maybe when it comes to the panel discussion, we might have to bail out earlier. So keep the comments coming so we know what's happening out there in the real world. So Conmore, do you think being an area director has accelerated your own Toastmasters journey?
Definitely. It was like going at a slow pace as a sort of relative newcomer to Toastmasters. When I came into the role of area director, I was sort of a little bit iffy about pathways. Not every speech was to do with pathways that I was doing before I became area director. And then once I take on this role, I find myself exposed to this new world and meeting people from different clubs. As somebody who's less experienced in Toastmasters, seeing all these DTMs and people with experience, I think especially as a young person coming in, it's really useful to see that, and there's no better way than to do this role as area director to get exposure to all these different people across an area with experience. So I found that it was really useful.
Yeah,
to
I know.
do this one.
Yeah, I know. I found the same when I stepped into those bigger roles. It's just a whole new world of people, a whole new world of mentors and learning from people. And suddenly you're turning around and going, I am that person I admired maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it's so important, as I said, for what we can take to the real world from what we're learning in Toastmasters is fabulous.
100%.
So brilliant. So one last question before I release you back to the green room. Are you glad you said yes?
Yes, I am very glad I said yes. It was well worth it. I don't know if I'd have said that beforehand when I was worrying about what's this gonna, am I gonna have to be the big boss and look over everybody and make sure everybody's doing this and that. But no, I'm very happy with the way it's turned out and the skills I've got.
Brilliant. Well, listen, congratulations on a great year, and I know there's loads of things going to be coming your way, Conmore, I'm presuming work, that artificial intelligence world, and Toastmasters. So fantastic. I'm going to bring you back for the panel discussion. We'll see how that goes sound-wise, and I'm going to send you back to the green room, and I'm going to bring on our next guest, who is Nuala O'Connor. Nuala, author, speaker, well-being consultant. No echo, we hope. Let's
I
speak.
hope so too. Hopefully not.
Okay, audience, you can type in your comments there. If Nuala has an echo, we will just lose it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Nuala was an area director when I was division director, the year ending 2025. She was Area 10, which is in North County Dublin. You had 6 clubs. They were very strong clubs, so sometimes that sounds like, well, that must have been easy. Not really, because you have to kind of stay ahead and support them. So Nuala said she developed it as a leader through visiting these clubs and building relationships. And yes, there were great people, as we've just said. Connection is really, really important. And as regards everyone else, we've seen that area director journey for Nuala was one of personal growth as well as leadership. So Nuala, what made you say yes to becoming an area director?
A moment of weakness, Olga.
You got that phone call.
I actually didn't. I always say be careful what you wish for or be careful what you say, because normally this great universe will turn it on its head. So I had said, I'd come to the conclusion myself. I'd gone to the conference, a district conference in Portlaoise, and I'd thrown myself in the deep end. I had decided to get involved any way I could in helping out with the contests. Anyway, just get involved to see how it goes. I'd gone down. I wanted to learn. I wanted to see. I wasn't participating as a contestant, and it was an amazing experience. And I got to meet some fabulous people in the flesh, people that I had met online during COVID. And here now I was meeting them in person. Amazing event. And coming away from that event, I decided that no, DTM is not for me. Any further is not really for me. I'll just keep on going in my own club and happy days. And I actually said that out loud to somebody. And would you believe it? Literally within a week, I was now going to be Area 10 director. So there was a complete 360 happened, and basically came down to my choice. I decided to go for the DTM, the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. And part of that, as you know, is to take on a district leadership role. The district leadership role in my own area, 16, was gone. This was a late join just before the area training. So I was lucky enough to get both area training slots. It literally happened a day or two before that. And I got area 10. And as you said, a very experienced area with people like Ted Cochran and Brenda Lannon and Patricia O'Reilly, stalwarts of the district, and lots others in there as well, including yourself, your good self. And I suppose, like you said, and like it has been mentioned here, I very quickly, I had that sense of, ooh, there's, these are hard hitters in a way. These are people who know more about Toastmasters than I possibly will ever do. These people have walked the walk. They've been in district leadership. They've been involved at regional and international levels. And here was I coming in here trying to be their area director. But I suppose I had in the back of my head, we're all just Toastmasters at the end of the day. And that's what I'd experienced at the conference. Even the people who were up at district level, they were all just voluntary Toastmasters at the end of the day. Yeah. And so very quickly, as you mentioned already, servant came into my head. I am here to serve. And for me, that meant being physically present. Now, as an area director, as you know, we are officially meant to visit each club twice in our officialdom as area directors. And we take a stock of what's happening at the meeting, and we have a certain form to fill out with questions to ask, with information to get about success planning and succession planning, etc., etc. But that, to me, they were the official meetings. I was there to be the area director, not the official person, and to be the servant. And so that meant showing up, not just at those official meetings, but arriving for contests. And this area, I didn't have to organize the contests. I just had to show up. This area divide the contests among themselves each year, and whose turn is it? It's your turn, it's our turn, it's wherever. And they're so used to this. And when you have people like Seamus Hines, who is an experienced contester, and it's just in safe hands. The whole thing is in safe hands. And I discovered every club in the area is safe hands. Now, they did have their struggles, and one of the biggest struggles was membership migration, all for legitimate, normal life reasons. Some clubs lost over 10 members going into this particular Toastmasters year. Some lost more. And again, all for legitimate, day-to-day, good reasons. And nobody could fault. It wasn't a club fault. It was just life happening. And it was to be there to listen to that and to try and offer some suggestions from my own space, and then encourage people in the room to bring a friend and to do all of that. And what I discovered, and this might be something for other people listening, moving out of your own area is actually a great thing. Moving into an area where you don't know the clubs, you don't know the setup, because I was learning a lot. Now, I was told I was also adding value to the clubs I visited. And when I got up and said something, it was really encouraging, really supportive. I really congratulated every club on their progress the year before and their achievements, and set the goal for the following year and how can I help you. And I really meant that. But what I was discovering was all these clubs were helping me. I was honing my speaking ability. I was really honing my leadership skills. I really did have to sit back and listen and be present and just be an ordinary Toastmaster among Toastmasters, and then say, okay, I think I can help you this way. I think I could help you this way. And again, one of those things was at the end of the year when people were really struggling to get new club members to take leadership roles, and me being there and saying it and throwing the challenge out and saying, these people have been here for a long time in these leadership roles. They need a rest and they need you to step up, and just throwing that challenge right out to people. And I wasn't in the club. I was somebody outside the club coming into the club, and I could offer that leadership challenge, and it paid off in some clubs. Some of the clubs didn't need it, but it really paid off in the clubs that did need it. And that I was chuffed that I actually was able to help in that way. And as I said, total school day, an awful lot of learning in that.
Yeah. But I also remember Nuala was the area director when I was division director, and Nuala did such a good job. I used to think, I just note down your speeches. She'd do such a lovely job at the end, recognizing, and then I just regurgitated when I'd visit other clubs in other areas. And I was like, I was always credit Nuala. I was like, area 10 director Nuala inspired this. But yes, she was very, very good. And when you joined, I thought you were sort of Toastmasters royalty. I'd heard your name and I thought, she's going to be, I'm going to be in charge of Nuala. That's going to be hard. And here's a nice comment that James Finnegan, one of our fellow Toastmasters, the universe will be not denied to Nuala, or not be denied Nuala. So in other words, yes, it's fabulous.
Yeah, the universe will have its way. Absolutely. The universe has a great sense of humor as well, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And I have a question for you. On all those visits, is there a standout visit? Not that, this is the best club, but just something maybe it was funny, different, like it sticks in your memory.
To say it was funny, no, it was a privilege. This meeting was a privilege to attend, and it was a meeting organised by Swords Toastmasters following the death of Noel O'Bara.
Yeah.
And I personally didn't know Noel O'Bara, but I knew him very quickly through the grief and the sense of loss among members of multiple clubs. It wasn't just Swords Club, it was Fingal Club, it was Malahide Club, it was Balbriggan Club, Molly Malone's Club, East Coast. Everybody in this area knew Noel O'Bara. And I attended the event that Swords put on at the end of that year, and was there as area director. It was one of the last jobs I did, and it touched, I think, nearly every Toastmaster in the room. I didn't need to be there. There was no obligation for me to be there. But as area director, I was leader in this area. And of course, I needed to be there. I needed to show up for the membership, because that's what I'd said to them, to show up for each other all year. So I needed to walk the walk. And I wanted to walk the walk. It wasn't even that I needed to. I wanted to be with these people that I'd got to know for the year as they grieved and honoured and ritualised the passing of this phenomenal Toastmaster. He was absolutely, the stories I heard, the tributes that were paid, I was just sorry I never did get to meet Noel O'Bara. A fabulous Toastmaster. So for me, that was an amazing highlight of the year, to actually have the privilege of being the area director at that event.
Yeah, no, that was a beautiful event. I was there as well. And yes, it will stick in my mind for a long time. And I did meet Noel O'Bara, and he was wonderful. He was absolutely wonderful. grand old age. I knew him when he was 95, and his mind was so alive, and he'd give great speeches. He had a mobility issue and a sight, but other than that, he was brilliant, and he still had this point of order. If something went wrong, then point of order. So yes, so thank you for remembering that and that being your highlight. So last question: biggest leadership lesson that you'll take with you into the real world or to future Toastmaster roles?
Is to sit back and let people lead. The one disservice we can do to people is to think we need to do it for people. Leadership is not always about doing it. Leadership is inspiring, it's motivating, it's putting people up there and setting challenges for them as much, and that servant leadership aspect as well. As leaders in District 71, I felt, and I got this from you, Olga, we were there to serve the membership. We were there to do the bits we had to do as part of an organization where everybody was doing their piece to help this district and this area and this division be a success. And to me, that was the big thing. There were giants in this area. There were also very brand new Toastmasters in this area, and sure, we're all just Toastmasters at the end of the day. And my role for that year was to try and inspire and enthuse and meet whatever needs all of these clubs needed me to help them meet. Now, was I going to meet them all? Probably not. But I was there to help them meet what they needed to meet. And to be quite honest with you, as you said already, they're all very experienced clubs. Yes, they all had their challenges. Absolutely. I think, they all told me that they got so much from my year. I got so much from my year from all of them. I made friends. I got challenged. I got up to give speeches that inspired, and I think it probably helped me last year then when I came back into my own area and back into my own club and got into speaking again and entering contests. And I'd say I was totally inspired and enthused and felt, because as part of my year as area director, you had me, I'm blaming you had me be contest chair for two of the division contests. And out of that, I got invited to be contest chair at the district conference for the speech evaluation contest. And while they were at one level scary experiences, they were amazing experiences. And the feedback I got from them about how I had played my role in all of that. And I think I learned so much from all of that it gave me the confidence then to go on last year and get into contests again.
Yeah, and she was so good. And Nuala, yes, she went on to leads an amazing life as a speaker. She came second in the district international speech, which is the precursor to the world's speaking public championships. So if she had sort of tripped up the winner, she could have been there. But no,
listen, but the whole thing, and this is the point, like it's winning absolutely a major bonus, even coming second out of the 9 divisions, absolutely. Having won the club, won the area, won the division. It was such an experience, but it was more than that, because the speech that brings you through that journey has to be personal and has to be relatable and has to then have such a format that it's a good speech and it's an engaging speech and a challenging speech. And to know that you had that and that you connected with so many people, that was the win. That was the win. That room was full of people just looking up at me. Every room in every contest I had was just full of people just with me all the way, totally engaged. And that's amazing, because it was my story I was telling, and with a call to action, and probably so many people's story that I was telling. It was so relatable. But again, it all came from all the experiences that I've had in Toastmasters since I joined, and being vice president for membership, being the vice president for education, being the club president and the immediate past president, doing the mentoring and the advanced mentoring training, and then starting the DTM journey and doing the club coaching training. All of these things, it's just like build incremental little steps that build your confidence and build your experience and build your awareness. And hey presto, you've got an awful lot of learning. You see, we're great at saying to people that you can become a confident speaker in Toastmasters. We forget to talk a lot about that little line that's under the icon Toastmasters International, where leaders are made. The leadership aspect of Toastmasters is phenomenal. And people who are afraid to step up into leadership in their organization take on leadership roles in Toastmasters, and in a couple of years, you'll be up there.
Yeah, because I remember joining Toastmasters and said, I'm not interested in that leadership bit. And now I'm going, hell yes. So just before you go, lovely comment from Elizabeth. Nuala, leadership in action. Hallelujah.
Sure,
Anyway, I'm going to take our poor guys at the back. Now, we will, again, people online, do let us know if we are echoing. So here we have Con Moore and Sajant is back. So welcome back, lads. Do you want... You can unmute
Testing.
Testing. Okay, we'll see the comments coming in. So what we'll do is, if it's grand, we'll go. If not, we'll keep it brief. So I'm going to ask you all one question. Area director in one word, starting with Suzanne. And you're on mute.
I'm on the spot right now. Inspirational.
Inspiration. Con Moore.
I'm going to slightly cheat and bump it to 2 words. Worth it.
Yeah, and Nuala.
That was mine.
Was it?
Pivot.
Pivot. I would say inspirational.
Excellent.
Yeah, and that
Okay,
was that as well. Sorry.
No, that's fantastic. And now I'm going to do some kind of trying to people listening in, and we want to get inspire the future area directors that are coming up. So first of all, Shishant, what's the biggest myth about being an area director? So the stuff that kind of freaks one out that you go, no, it's actually grand.
There's actually a lot of support. There's a lot of support from the district leadership team. That was one thing I got a lot, especially Steve Champion. Even though he was PQ director, he was really, really helpful. Also Elizabeth, past district director, they're actually really, really helpful. Even division directors, they were really there to support you and they want you to succeed. I think that's the one thing that I think I didn't realize until I was actually doing the role.
Brilliant. And Con Moore, what sort of myth or thing did you have in your mind that when you did, you went, oh my God, this is so good?
It was sort of something that Nuala touched on. I think it's about the fact that you're not the big boss. Yes, you are in a position, I found as area director, where you owe a certain level of responsibility to the people in the area that you're looking over, but you're not there to tell them what to do. You're there to be there as a guide for them, to support them. They usually have a good idea of what they're doing anyway. So, just to support and leadership.
Very good. And Nuala?
And I think this is something that Con touched on. You don't have to do it on your own. The biggest myth that you're up there and you're the person and you have to organize this or you have to do that. Absolutely not. You have club presidents and club VPEs and club VPMs, all a team with you if they all get involved, and they can run events. You just have to be there to facilitate that, to manage that in a way. I think there's a myth that you have to be all and do all, and that's not good leadership. And it doesn't have to be the leadership of Toastmasters. It's not good leadership. It's not seen as good leadership in any organization. So we need to lose that myth, I think.
Absolutely, very important. Here's a question from James Finnegan, who's on the live stream. What do you know now that you wish you had known when you started as an area director? And I'll put that to Sajant.
The club constitution. Honestly, that is a document where you actually learn how Toastmaster works. I think, especially when resolving conflict within clubs, I think that document will honestly save you so much time. So if you're area director, read the club constitution. It will honestly save you so much time.
Very good. It's not something that would have come into my mind. Interesting. And same question to you, Con Moore.
I would say plant the seeds for your successor early, because the last thing you want to be doing is at the end running about looking for somebody to take the area into the next year, which is something that I may be guilty of. But I'd say that would be my advice. Get it in nice and early, your successor.
Yeah, clever. And Nuala?
I actually talked about my successor from the first speech I ever gave in a club at the beginning of the year. It didn't do me any good, really. I did have to go and look for somebody. But to me, what I know now that I wish I'd known was to go outside the area, to go out into another area, to meet new people and to experience other clubs and how they do it, and to see that it's all okay. That to me was I didn't know that then. It happened by accident. Does anything happen by accident? And now I would say I would put that up as a recommendation. Go outside your area. You will have to do a little bit of traveling, but it's actually worth it.
Okay, very good. A question from Elizabeth. This question is, did you have a mentor during your time as area director? If yes, share how it helped you succeed. Sujant.
I didn't have a direct mentor, but I had a lot of people that I can ask questions to and kind of get that support from. I think Steve was very helpful, especially when resolving certain conflicts within clubs. He really made me understand that what my role is and how to handle conflict within Toastmasters. Because I think we're always shown that Toastmasters is always a perfect community, but there's always problems when it comes to people. That's important to know how to handle conflicts and how to resolve it in a manner which benefits both sides.
Yeah, no, that's very good, and that's a big learning. So yeah, well done, having to navigate that. And Con Moore, I think you did say in the individual that you didn't have an official mentor. Am I right, or?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I didn't have a set mentor, but it was good to have the support from the wider district, like the district leadership channel. I'm thinking of WhatsApp in particular. And if you're, I'd say, the new area directors, if you're coming in, make sure you use that expertise that is just at your fingertips, and make sure you ask questions because you've got experts close at hand who can help you with pretty much anything that you might be struggling with. So
Yeah,
that's what I used.
well said, Con Moore. Nuala?
I would have to say you probably, Olga, were my mentor for the year, as in we had such a really good working relationship. If I needed help or needed answers to questions, I went straight to you. I also managed to keep other high profile people in the district on speed dial during the year to help me out. Any questions I had, I knew who I needed to go to get the answer the quickest. That seemed to be what worked for me. And I used that. I wasn't wasting time on things. And if I didn't know the answer, I went. I didn't feel I ever had to know the answer. I just had to find it and come back to the person.
Yeah, it was very important to know where to get the information, because even like Nuala would ask me questions, I'm going, oh, don't know, just one moment, please. And I'd be dialing up Brenda Lannon or my outgoing Division C, which was Phil. So yes, we all have those people we go to, and they help us, and then we learn and we grow as well. Oh, here's another question from James Finnegan. Oh yes, here we go now, lads. Okay, will you now move on and become a division director? So Sujant, do you want to tell us your tale?
Yeah, so I went for the division director, but then there was competition and I didn't get it. But I will do it in the future. But I will say, like, if something doesn't happen, there's always a different direction. Like, for example, when I was president and originally I didn't want to do area director, and then something happened, then I became area director and I started my own club. So I think it's not my time right now, but I think it will be my time in the future. But I've got a long way.
Yeah, and take Nuala's example, step outside your division. You could go like cross the sea to Ireland. You don't have to visit the club. So there's an idea. Con Moore, have you got your eye on a division position?
I wouldn't say I'm as ambitious as Sujant now. I will sort of wanted to step back for a year and sort of concentrate on the club, that I'm in for speakers. But it is something that I would consider definitely in the future, because the only way you're going to grow is by pushing your comfort zone further and further, isn't it? So that's the next step up from area director. So it is something that I will come back to.
Do, it's great fun. I can attest to that. I had a ball. And Nuala, are we going to see you at the area director or division director? You're going to skip that and go straight to district?
Oh no, thank you. This is something I've had to work on, and something Toastmasters has helped me a lot with. And some people might not like me saying this. I do voluntary very well. I'm self-employed, and I need to do self-employed very well. Having grown up all my life in the voluntary sector, when it comes to volunteering and doing things, I can do it too well to the detriment of my work. And so what I found I've challenged myself in Toastmasters with is one thing, one time, or a max of two. So for example, last year I took on club coach for a club and I did speechcraft, but I didn't have a role in my club and I wasn't an area director. This year, I'm continuing to help coach the club that we successfully got through the coach program. Unofficially, I'm continuing to support them, and I'm back as VPE in my own club. That's enough. That's
Yeah,
enough.
that is.
And
That's
I
good.
think that's what we need to, because if the same people keep stepping up and doing the same things all the time, then we're not enabling others to step up. And sometimes people need a little gentle, ever so gentle push into these leadership roles, and to realize that there is value in what they can offer. And by us stepping back sometimes and saying we're open to mentor, we can actually help others to step into leadership. That's just where I am with it. So am I going to step into the division role? I don't have an urge to do so. I don't have an urge to do
Yeah,
so.
you might get that phone call. And with me, yeah, I forget that gentle. Can you go back, please? Because I'll do it again. I had such fun. Anyway, here's a
Did you?
nice message from. Yeah, I would. So anyway, here's a nice message from Elizabeth. Suzanne, she's looking forward to becoming division director in the not too distant future. So watch
Oh,
that space. And James Finnegan is really impressed with all your answers. So yes, he'll be inviting you on to his show when he has one. So well done. Now I'm going to ask a nice, fun question. So what made you smile in your time as area director? What put that big smile on your face, Shazam?
I think it was just meeting new people because I'm a very introverted person. So I kept to my club. So going area director, just meeting people and just having fun. That yeah, everyone just wants to have fun, and the communities out there that are similar to my own club. There's so many. So I really enjoy just meeting new people and just having fun with them. I think that's what Toastmasters is best known for.
It's great. And you know what? I remember being Division C, and any time the area directors visit, they're like royalty. You know, you kind of get this, oh, would you like to make a speech? Where would you like to sit? Who would you like to talk to? Like, it's really lovely. Going to put the same question to Con Moore. What made you smile the most during your time as area director?
It's something similar. It's really just meeting new people, getting out there, pushing your boundaries, seeing what you can do, and as an introvert as well, learning that you can do more than what you think you can. Push yourself, and actually get out and talk to people and build connections, and the rewards you reap are great.
Brilliant. And Nuala?
I think it was something similar, but what I used to laugh at sometimes was some people weren't at, say, the first meeting that I was at, that I was introduced at, and maybe I wasn't introduced at the beginning of a meeting, and I'd be just walk in and sit beside them, and they hadn't a clue who this was, and I'd pick out a book, maybe I would start to write, or I was there and I said, hi, how are you, and whatever, and they would think, who is this? And I would just sit there incognito, and then somebody finally would say, oh, and yeah, we have our area director here, and I would, oh. I'm outed, and sometimes I find myself beside a brand new visitor in a club, and I'd say, "Oh, is this your first time? Oh, Toastmasters is great. I'm not from here, but this is a really good club." And I would just start, and because I'd said I'm not from here, and I was genuine in saying that, they were thinking, "Oh, this is a sort of stranger like me," so I could trust what she's saying. She's not trying to sell me anything, but I really was, because I was the area director, and that would get found out eventually. Yeah, I have to say, I really had a smile on my face when that would happen, that people would be thinking, who's this one coming to our meeting and looking all, and who do you think she is, sort of thing, because they didn't know me, and they'd always had area directors from the area, but that was good crack.
Just a note to anybody listening, you send a photograph of your area director to your WhatsApp group club, let them know, because they really need to impress her. If she's going or he's going, I love this club, they were so nice, they're going to be really nice in their report, not a lovely glowing report.
Yeah, but Olga, you see,
Yes.
that's the thing. Every club was so nice. It didn't matter who you were, and that's the bit that really came home to me. The atmosphere is always the same in every club, no matter where you go. I have to put my hand up. I've never experienced anything else except that. I don't know if anybody else has, but that's the bit that really enthused me through the year and kept me going, was I'm just going along with the waves here, because we're all Toastmasters. We're all on this
Yeah.
journey, and we all want the same thing, and we all want to help everybody. And yeah, it was all in together. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to go with another question. Is there anyone you met because of your role that made a lasting impression on you, Sajant?
I think Steve. I've got to give props to Steve Champion. Like, for example, when you go to more of the higher up roles, you always ask the questions. Are they like what makes them so special. And then when I was having the issues within the clubs, Steve told me how Toastmasters run, and he actually gave me the time to actually tell me how it's run and how the members have all the power and explain my role. It kind of made me understand what, as an area director, we do. And that was like really inspirational to understand that, yeah, like I'm a geek as well. And but to have someone like that just like explaining to me how Toastmaster works, what Toastmasters is, even though I've been in Toastmaster for 5 years, I felt like he taught me so much about it. So I would give him props for like explaining that, kind of making me understand how great Toastmasters can be. But also we have rules that we have to abide by as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and anyone listening, Steve, who Sujant is referring to, Steve Campion is our current district director. So he is where the buck stops. And yes, lovely guy. All these people, they're all beautiful people. And Con Moore, anyone you met that you were like, wow, I'm so glad I met this person because of the role that you're in?
I would say my replacement, the Area 4 director, who is in there now, she is really good. Patience McFlippy, she is, not to toot my own horn, but she was the president of Lagan Valley Toastmasters. And just the experience that I had with her was great. She's one of those Toastmasters that is so supportive, and you can call her for anything, and she helps you. You know, she did the trophies for the Area 4 contest, and she did such a good job with them, and no doubt she's going to do a great job this year.
Brilliant. And Nuala, anyone that made an impression on you? Said, oh, I'm keeping them in my contacts list.
So many. I keep going back to Olga, but we formed. I'd never met Olga before we worked together, and we've just formed such a great bond since. But I suppose at district level, absolutely the district team. Angela Afiega was just a phenomenal person for me, an amazing person for PR, and really tried to encourage me into that, not my thing. But her way of supporting me, because I also ran the project, the hashtag #MyWhy project. But in the area itself, Con stole my line again. It was the person who came in after me, Seamus Hines. I had met Seamus online before I took this area role in contests. He was an amazing contester. He just blew my mind away in the contest, and he'd always be taking part. And then when I met him, he's not only just in contests, but he's a member of 3 or 4 clubs in his own area, and he shows up and he loves being part of them, and he takes roles in them all. And when I wasn't getting somebody to take the role, he stepped forward, even though he'd and I said, I'll back you up if you ever need me to step in. But again, it's such an area that, the area helps with the whole thing. But he's just such an unassuming, really supportive, genuine guy and Toastmaster, and he walks the walk no more than so many do. But he really just stood out for me during the year. And so supportive, yeah, so supportive.
He's so nice. Now here's James Finnegan says, great answer, guys. And Linda Devlin has joined the stream, and she's saying she feels so inspired listening to each speaker, always so honest and fun. And maybe Linda's going to be an area director one day, and I'm sure she's amazing too. So now I'm going to come into our last question. We're at the 3-minute mark. So, okay, it might be a bit hard. So, Sujant, looking back, what did saying yes as an area director ultimately say yes to? God, it's very complicated.
Okay, very interesting question. It opened my eyes to what true leadership is about, to be honest, because I think, especially when you're at a club and you know the people and you understand how the club works, it's very different from being an area director, where you're more of an advisor and you're advising all the other clubs, and you see the habits other clubs have, the cultures, and it's very different. And I feel like I learned true leadership from being area director, just seeing how clubs are run and understanding how it works.
Yeah. No, brilliant. Con, he's disappeared. Nuala, while Con's trying to get back connected, do you want to answer that question? You do need to repeat it because it was quite complicated.
What did saying yes to area director ultimately mean saying yes to?
Perfect.
I think just a greater commitment. It was about showing up and walking the walk even more and going that bit deeper and stepping up and outside the club. If we only stay in our clubs, even if we take leadership roles, if we only stay in our clubs, we miss out on so much. I really think that, and I genuinely, honestly, this year I was pushing at a few people to go to the conference, a District 71 conference down in Tralee. Come on, get up there, get there, even if it's just for a day, just get there because you get out of your club. And I think for me, being part of the area and the division and the district, it just pushed me right into the massive ocean that is Toastmasters and the massive ocean of learning and potential that is so many steps up from where we are at club level. It just blows your mind and gives you so much experience and so much learning, boosts your confidence, and hey, you could end up on the international stage someday.
You could indeed. And Con Moore, would you like to answer that? You're back in the room. Do you need me to repeat the question, or have you got the gist of it?
No, I think I've still got the gist. For me, it is self-growth, definitely. It's saying yes to this has been saying yes to self-growth. The difference that I can see already in not just my Toastmasters journey, but in other aspects of my life has been really significant. And anybody can do it as well, you know, because I came on and as I was saying, I didn't hold a committee position and I was barely a year in Toastmasters and I decided to throw myself onto the deep end and do this. And it was a little bit scary at the start trying to learn how to swim, but anybody can do it. You know, you just put your mind to it, you can do it.
Exactly. So I'm going to finish there. But anybody listening, say yes. As we said, you know, why did I say yes? For me, yes. What everybody has said here, it's just so much growth. It just gets you comfortable in your life. It's the connection, it's the networking, it's the smiles. There's nothing, no downside. Anything that seems like a downside turns into a plus, as Con Moore said. I was dreading the contest. It turned out to be my favourite and the thing I felt most proud of. So we're coming to an end now. I just wanted to say also we were supposed to have Fiona Kearns on, who's an incoming director. So she's a little bit different to these guys of Area 29, which is a brand new area. And I was dying to hear what clubs are in there. So we wish all the success to Fiona, and hopefully if we do something like this again, maybe we'll look at division directors and have a little piece for Fiona in there. So thank you to my guests, to Sujant, to Con Moore and to Nuala and to Fiona, unfortunately, who just because the sound was just too bad her end. So I'm going to say goodnight. We have our next session is on Thursday, I think it's the 6th of August. It's called Who Knew, and it's a group of Toastmasters very high achieving in their own lives, but went on to achieve even more once they leveraged all that beauty that comes from being a Toastmaster. So I'd like to say goodnight to my guests, goodnight to our audience, and look forward to seeing you soon.